It was months living in like the worst darkness of my life. I've never felt so much despair. The destruction of my career, of all of my personal relationships in the music industry and my friends. The press wrote these articles with these headlines, disparaging, clickbait, disgusting fake headlines, and as a result, killed everything in my life. Absolutely obliterated everything. I'm powerless to defend myself in the current climate that we live in. If I defend myself, I'm bullying the victims. If I stay silent, I'm running away because I'm guilty. It's a lose-lose situation. There's no way I could have defended myself without my words being twisted.
So, one of the things that I've talked about a lot on my show is the epidemic of false Me Too allegations that we have seen since the beginning of Me Too years ago, 5 years ago. And I've talked about a number of big cases. The best known case, of course, is the Johnny Depp situation and the hoax that Amber Heard perpetrated against him. And of course, I've talked a lot about the Marilyn Manson hoax. That's one of the most unbelievable, the extent to which Evan Rachel Wood went to recruit women to lie about him. And Evan Rachel Wood went on a huge media campaign that has not stopped. And of course, he's suing her right now and her co conspirator, ex girlfriend, Ilma Gore, in court over that. I've talked about other cases as well. There are a lot of them. But there's one that I learned about just recently from a friend of mine. Too. So you were going to tell me about someone. Who is that?
So William Control, he and I met in 2006. And, things didn't quite work out friendship-wise for us because I was incredibly young and annoying at that point, and he was just in a different place in his life, and so was I. But I heard about these allegations that had come against him in 2018 about all these women saying he was running a sex cult and abusive physically, mentally, emotionally, every single way possible. Immediately, these awful, sickening things are believed, and
Right.
the media just pounces on it and puts out these sensational clickbait articles. What happened with William, unfortunately, was his whole life just was destroyed.
I feel as though a lot of you have this distorted idea of who I am as a person. As if I keep some harem of women chained up in a basement as sex slaves, and I drink blood or some stupid goth bullshit. The truth is that I was in extramarital relationships with multiple consenting adults who were all aware I was married and had a kid.
And what was their motivation?
A lot of them, it seems that a lot of the motivation for that was because he broke up with them. Mm-hmm. One in particular woman, he was his assistant, and she had access to a lot of his private information, and that did not end well.
On February 6, 2018, we ended it. She told me she had met someone else and she was going to get married. I was unaware of this, and so I blocked her number and blocked her on all my social media. On February 8th, she called the police in the town I lived in and claimed that I drugged her, beat her unconscious, and raped her while she was unconscious.
And so she kind of rallied all these women to...
We know this story.
Exactly. Yes. This is very, very similar to what happened with my dear friend Manson. And this kind of predated that all by a couple of years.
I was in extramarital relationships with multiple consenting adults who were all aware I was married and had a kid. At the end of the day, I wasn't able to fulfill those commitments that I had made toward each and every one of them. It bred bitterness and, most disappointingly of all, jealousy.
And it's you not see a pattern happening here with these women who kind of all come together and, conspire against men because they have some kind of agenda against them for some reason or another. And it just blows my mind that the media is so focused on the popularity of these sensational articles that they don't care to report the truth at all.
People in the industry that are still my friends can't defend me because they just get called a rape apologists, or, you know what I mean? It affects their pocketbook. And that's the world we're living in. That we can't be honest as people anymore. We have to fucking walk on eggshells, you know, to make a buck. And that's the reality.
So after we had this conversation, I looked up William Control. When I looked at the allegations against him, I thought, well, you know, this sounds terrible. This sounds horrible. But as with other situations like the Marilyn Manson situation that I've looked into, when you actually get into it, what you see is that the allegations fall apart. So a number of these women have contradicted their stories and changed their stories multiple times. And William Control himself did a really smart and brave thing. He actually went on a kind of a PR offensive himself, in which he posted multiple videos on his YouTube channel, and you can also find them on a website, talkaboutthesexcult.com. So there's an entire website here that's actually devoted to exposing this as well. But on William Control's YouTube channel, he put out multiple extensive long videos debunking the most prominent accusers. He brought the receipts.
Here's some text messages from her. This is one before she came, on January 3rd, 2017. I'll do my very best to fulfill all your wishes. Yeah, as I think about it, I am actually so happy there isn't any single desire of yours I wouldn't try to become true. You can beat me and rape me as hard as you wish. On the 17th of January, we had that encounter. She went to the hotel. She was flying back to the Czech Republic. And while she was at the airport, she texted me, I love you so much. It feels like leaving a part of my heart over here. Could you do one little thing for me to make me a bit happier, sir? Please send me that photo of your hand on my lower back. It looked so beautiful. I sent her the photo. You were so wonderful, she replies. And you saw I holded myself not to cry this time because I know that it won't take too long to be with you. But leaving still hurts. 3 days later, on January 22nd, she writes, the first moment when I'll be able to tell you that there's no need for any worries about the future anymore. I write, please, I'm waiting. Ugh, I need that. And she goes, sir, I'll make you able to have everything you need soon. And then you will choke me and rape me. Two days later, on January 24th, yes, because it shows what you mean to me, how special you are, and how much power you have over me. Please, Daddy, beat me and rape me, and let it feel like you are so deep in me that my heart is being stabbed by your cock. She sends a picture. January 26th. A week after I see her. Almost 10 days. Yes, please, I desperately need you, and your violence is a prelude of all things to come. Can you imagine how excited you made me? I should be preparing to go to work, as I need to leave at about 30 minutes. But I'm sitting here with my cunt dripping wet, and I'm unable to get it all out of my head. Please, rape me, and be who you really are with me, so you can everything. She's from the Czech Republic. Her English is kind of broken. I love that feeling that I am letting you free yourself in all your depravity. That's just from a week.
I mean, there's a lot there. And he points out that the cops investigated him thoroughly and they cleared him because when they actually looked into it, they saw that this was a giant hoax.
It took a few months for them to, write the report and send it to the, district attorney or the state of Washington. And it took a few months for them to decline to file charges. I mean, obviously, with the evidence that I have, the truth of the matter, the videos, of course they're not going to file a rape charge. It's fucking phony. So I got a lot of relief then, you know, when I found that out. Why would the media who has seen this stuff decline to write the story? Because it doesn't fit with the narrative that I'm a monster. It won't get clicked. It won't get clicks. It just, you know, the music industry was, man, they were quick to fucking drop me. Quick. And I mean, I'm talking about relationships that I've had for years and years, over a decade, with some of these people who are just, that's it. And, you know, part of the reason is they don't want to be associated with something that's, you know, controversial. They want to be able to just make a living and not have a bunch of fucking assholes in their comments on their social media. You know, and the other half are just straight fucking cowards who wrote the stories about me, who believe this shit about me.
Now, you can look into this in detail yourself. I would advise you to go to William Control's YouTube channel or this website, talkaboutthesexcult.com, and you can see all the particular ways in which he debunks these stories that these women have told. But I wanted to bring this up because this is just another case. I've watched his videos, and I just have to say he seems very, very credible to me. He admits that he cheated repeatedly, cheated on his wife at the time. He admits that in a lot of ways his ego was out of control. But he is adamant about and very convincing on the idea that he did not do these horrible things that he is accused of, and that it is a kind of a witch hunt or a hoax against him. And I find him credible and compelling.
You know what? The Me Too movement, when it started happening, I thought, wow, yeah, good for them. You shouldn't have to suck a dick to get a movie role. You know? I thought it was a pretty noble cause. I never thought that I would get Me Too'd.
And I love the way that he is, to use a cliche, taking lemons and making lemonade out of them, because instead of he is capitalizing on it and he's exposing it for how ridiculous it is, and he's making art out of it. So his latest album, the first album that he has published since all of this happened, it's entitled Sex Cult. And each track on the album, each song is devoted to some aspect of what he has been through, of this ordeal that he has been through and what he was subjected to. And so I really think that's a fascinating way to respond to something like this. And I think that the music is great. And so, you know, take a listen.
I am the villain lurking in the night. I am the danger, vain and vilified. I am the demon you brought into your bed. I am the scoundrel your legs did I spread. I wanna feel your